Hello and welcome back to another Top Table Duels. Today we'll be looking at a best of 3 ranked match between davi in the blue at 497. Going to be playing a Marincess Bestial build and versus ElijahJohn down in the red at 406, who's going to be playing Sky Striker with some Bestial and a lot of hand traps, or basically hand trap build is what it looks like in here. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Alright, so davi is going to be going first. He's going to normal summon to his Marincess Pascula. He's going to activate Marincess Pascula's effect, which is going to be met by an infinite impermanence. He's immediately going to link it off into his Marincess Sea Angel. Marincess Sea Angel is going to activate her effect to add a Marincess spell to the deck, but it's going to be met with a Ash Blossom. So then Rai is going to activate his Pot of Desires to go ahead and banish 10 and draw 2. At this point, Elijah's got nothing else to interact with that, and he draws into, it looks like, an impermanence as well as Marincess Spring Girl. Marincess Spring Girl's effect is going to activate, banishing 1 from graveyard, banishing the Pascula to special summon itself, which is going to allow him to continue off on his play. It's going to special summon into the Marincess Coral an enemy, and then he activates the Spring Girl's effect in graveyard. Yep. And then he's going to activate Coral Anemone to special summon the Sea Angel. And then he's going to activate Marincess Mandarin from hand to special summon itself because he controls more than 2. And he's going to link off into Marincess Coral Triangle. I haven't really been following Marincess too much, but I really do. Marincess Triangle and their ability to, she can add the trap to their deck. I think that's probably one of the ways that this deck is continuing to stay relevant as it does as far as a rogue deck. Especially looking at Rai's build where he's playing the Bestial engine as well. It looks like he's really trying to counteract the tier element. The only downside obviously is once he gets into his engine of water, he can't use his Bestials. So he's going to link off the triangle. He's going to go into his Great Bubble Reef. Great Bubble Reef's ability to just continuously draw and then pump itself up is going to be good. His opponent, ElijahJohn, is going to activate his Bestial Druid Worm, and he's going to target his opponent's Bestial Magnemite, banish it out. His Ray tries to activate his Magnemite. You can't do that, yeah. Your opponent doesn't control a monster. I wish he could. And then he draws into a Kashtira Fenrir. Me personally, if you already know from watching some of my other videos, I am a Sky Striker player for a long time now. I personally don't agree with Kashtira Fenrir. Let me know in the comments below what you think about playing Kashtira decks, or Kashtira cards, specifically Fenrir. I think you'd be probably only playing Fenrir in this type of build. It just kind of clogs up. I understand you can use it to try to break boards, especially this is most likely a Go Second Striker deck as they all are. Look at how many hand traps he's playing. But I don't think that that's the best thing to do here. So he said, hey, don't forget about my stand by yourself. While it was happening, while I was talking, his opponent Elijah basically skipped straight to the main phase. He says, I want to use Marincess Great Bubble Reef's effect so I can banish 1, draw a card, bumps his attack by 600. And then Elijah's going to go into the main phase, activate his Raigeki to clear the Great Bubble Reef off. And then he's going to normal summon his Sky Striker Ray, and he's going to get in for, this is going to be 5,500. And this is dangerous. I know he knows his opponent only has 1 card in hand. He is looking at the infinite impermanence, which is probably why he's thinking, hey, he's not going to be able to get the OTK playoff on me, but if he had linkage in hand, that's a very dangerous thing to just kind of let your opponent continue riding that, because you could link it, you could linkage into Kagari back, and that's another 3,000. But since he was sitting on top of that infinite impermanence, he knew that it was going to be okay. So he's going to link into his Kagari. Kagari's going to be an impermanence, and then he's going to link away into Shizuku. Shizuku is going to activate its in-phase effect, which is going to be met with another impermanence. That's that power of that Great Bubble Reef, constantly allowing him to draw into more and more hand traps. I think so far, just looking at this build and kind of what he's done with it, this is fairly impressive. But I am interested, especially after Ray on that first misstep on the end phase when Elijah went into the Druid Worm to try to bench. Ray attempted to activate Magnemite. Not only was that wrong because Elijah didn't control a monster, but also Ray had used his Marincess effects, which has locked him into special summoning water monsters for the rest of the turns. Its Bestials were actually water monsters. That'd be a different game. Right, so he is going to normal summon his Blue Tang, link off into his Blue Spell. Blue Tang's effect is going to activate. Look, excavate the top 3, look at 1, add one of his Marincess cards to his hand, which is going to be his Marincess Seahorse. He's going to special summon it to the zone that blue select points to, which allows him to go into his Sea Angel. Sea Angel's effect is going to activate, getting his Marincess dive to hand. And then he's going to link off both those into his Anemone. Anemone's effect is special summon one back from the graveyard. He's going to special summon back the blue Tang. At this point, Elijah's just along for the ride. He's just watching everything happen. He's already lost his Ray. Marincess Marbled Rock is going to activate. And then he's going to activate his Marincess Dive. Special summon back out the blue. Blue seeing a lot of play this turn. Then Marincess Spring Girl is going to banish out the Sea Angel to special summon herself. And then he is going to Xe summon over to a Bahamut Shark, get himself a nice Toad. And then he's going to link off his Bahamut Shark and his Marbled Rock to go back into a Marincess Great Bubble Reef. And then he is going to attack over the Jewess Worm. He says, on attack, he's going to activate Marincess Wave to target the Shizuku. So at this point, the Jewess Worm can't send it. Elijah says, can I read the trap? Wants to make sure he knows what's happening. So now Bubble Reef is going to attack over it. And then Totally Awesome is going to attack over the Shizuku. He's only got 2 spells in grave. Elijah's saying, I'm using Jerusalem's effect. And Ray is saying, that's okay. You can use this effect. It doesn't matter. It's unaffected. And then he's going to swing in over his remaining monsters. So now his opponent is staring down. He keeps asking if the link is unaffected. So the only time the link is ever going to be unaffected is if they have the field spell up and if they have, what is it, the Coral Heart, whatever it is. And I haven't seen that being played too much. I think a lot of people have kind of sided out of that, especially now that they have a way. Because before, that play was good as a way to keep him kind of protected. If you lost the field spell, it was no good. But that was before they got their Searcher off a triangle to get the Marincess Wave. It's now a lot easier just to go into a play where you can build the Negator or the Drawer. He's trying to special summon in the standby phase, and Ray is basically saying, hey, you need to let me. So I guess, yeah, looking at Ray, he's not trying to special summon any of his Bestials on his opponent's turn. It's also interesting because the Nibiru is only good on your opponent's turn. So his opponent tries to Saronir to do a little bit more damage, which is going to be met by his opponents, chaining that. And then Fenrir is going to run over the Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome's effect is going to trigger to add back the blue Tang, in which case Fenrir is going to say, hey, you've activated a monster effect. I'm going to activate Fenrir to target your Bubble Reef to banish it, which is going to be met by an effect failure because now we're in main phase 2. Actually, so that actually should not have been allowed. So that's a misplay because the Totally Awesome effect adds back in the battle phase. For whatever reason, he moved himself out of battle phase. That should not have been allowed to be effect failure because it's only the main phase. That was a misplay on both players' part. Bubble Reef should be gone. But then he scoops it up. Yep, so that was a misplay on both players, although I think looking down that Fenrir with not much left, he was going to lose that one anyways. So now we're going into game 2. That was an incredibly back and forth long game 1. So going into game 2 now, Elijah is obviously opting to let Ray go first because he's a go second striker build. And again, specifically now we're looking at just how much hand trap and constant monster presence there is in only one spell. So Elijah, I guess, he's not too worried about building it up. So Ray's going to start it off. He's going to normal summon into Blue Tang, and he's going to link off into Blue Slug. Blue Slug's effect to trigger as well as Blue Tang. So he's going to activate the top 3, and he's going to add the Pasculis back into his hand. And then he is going to special summon the Seahorse to the link zone that Slug is pointing to, link off into Marincess Sea Angel. Sea Angel likely to grab the field spell. Yep, grabs Battle Ocean. Yes, it was. Yeah, sorry, not Coral Heart. It's Crystal Heart. Yeah, that play isn't really seen so much anymore now that they have a way to search out their trap that they can activate from him, making them all unaffected and shutting the monster effect down. So here, he's going to activate the Battle Ocean to equip it to him. I'm guessing if it gets stopped, then he has to end on this board. At least it's not a weak monster. So he's going to activate Cold Enemy's effect to special summon back. Looks like Blue Tang. It's going to be met by Ray activating Called by the Grave. So the bell gets banished. Blue Tang is special summoned. And then he's going to link those two off, go into his coral triangle, and then he's going to activate his anemones effect as well as the battle ocean effect. So he's going to add back the Tang, equip the anemone, and then he's going to discard the best Gula to add the Marincess wave, setting himself up to be unaffected in the next turn, shut down an effect. He's going to activate Spring Growth from hand, banishing it out to special summon it. And then he's going to link up to a Link 4 for Marincess Aqua Argonaut. And then he's going to activate Spring Growth's Grave effect as well as the field spell to equip another one. And then he's going to kind of move them all around, shuffle them around, maybe personal preference for how he likes them being set up. And then he's going to set the infinite impermanence down. So now he's looking at one spell negate, one monster negate, another monster effect negate, as well as all of his, Marincess monsters will be unaffected. So Elijah asks again, is your monster unaffected? He says no, so he's going to special summon the Fenrir right off the bat, and then normal summon his Ray. And then he's going to activate his Bistal Saranir, targeting the Druid's Worm, in which case Bistal Magma is going to chain, special summon itself, activate its effect, and here he's likely going to activate the Fenrir. He knows the Marincess wave is in hand, so the Marincess wave comes down, targets the Fenrir, negates it. At this point, he still has a spell and trap negate, which allows him to special summon one of his links. And Elijah's going to say, that's enough for me. There's nothing I can do about this. And he's going to call it a game. So overall, in this duel, I think the Marincess player kept well in control. There was some misplaying in there for the timing of the effect bill and stuff like that. I don't think it changed the outcome of the duel too much, especially in game one. There was already a huge swing in advantage. As far as the Sky Striker player, let me know in the comments below what you think about playing such a heavy monster lineup in a Sky Striker build. I've seen a lot of unique ones, and I know myself, I've tried a lot of different ways to constantly flood the graveyard with spell cards, especially in Ishizu tier limit format, where they can constantly just shuffle your spells back mid-engage, or when you activate engage, so on resolution, you lose the extra draw effect. But here, this Elijah seems to have completely gone the opposite route and said, you know what, more monsters is better. Tier limit is the main effect that's trying to hurt me. And I'm going to get my Kashtira Fenrir on here, and he's using his Fenrir to break boards. I understand that. I see what he's going with. But if you can't get that 3 cards engrave, spells engrave engine online, and then you can't really set up to go into your opponent, you're not effectively breaking a board the next turn. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Me personally, I think it's a little too many monsters. Maybe we need more spell cards for negation and banishment. Also, let me know what you think about this Marincess build, specifically maining Bystials in there, giving it just a little bit more edge and trying to stay relevant against the tier limit format. All right, thank you all for watching and spending your time with me. If you liked what you saw, like this video and comment below and then subscribe to me, as well as comment below what decks you'd like to see, and I'll scour through the Duelingbook to see if we can't find some good replays for what you're looking for. Out.
Thank you for watching. Try some of these other great duels. If you like what you saw, give us a like and subscribe.